today that made it pretty hard?
I mean, I think it's not today, it's the 3 days before. Um, Usually first day you're excited and everybody, have an energy. Second day you're still there. Third day you start to get tired, and the fourth day is usually the one that gets you. But I think we got a young group. Everybody has good energy, and I did not feel that from anybody else. I feel like that's more me. I don't know how everybody else is feeling, but usually it's the day. Usually the day before a day off is the one that it's harder.
You know, 7 players left from the playoff team, and you were the last one. You're the one that came back. What was it about this situation that made you want to come back?
I don't think it was about the team last year. Of course, I had the opportunity to play more than I did years before. It was about the organization and the way they want to go. Honestly, even before all the change, my mind was coming back. I wanted to come back even before the changes. But I think it's the organization, um, the experience I had last year with the team, everything. I think make me want to be back this year.
What have practices been like so far at the point guard position specifically? Because it seems like there's a lot of defensive talent on the depth chart right now.
Yeah, we've been rotating a lot. Of course, last year, I mean, I'm a point guard, but I think last year I played the 2, 3, sometimes even the 4. And um, I'm I'll be out there to play if the position coach wants me to play. If it's the point guard, great. If it's not, I'll give my 100% like I did last year. But yeah, we've been switching a lot. We've been I think everybody has been playing every position a little bit. Me and Aaron being playing 1 and 2, and sometimes we play in different teams. But it's been interesting.
What's it been like going up against them, though? Have you been able to face Aaron and Spencer so far in scrimmages, and just kind of what is it like, the competitiveness?
Yeah, I think I knew before having training camp. I play against them years before. They're both great point guards, competitive. Aaron's super strong and plays hard. Spencer also coming back from injury, just wanting to make that next step. They're both very talented. They're both great players. It's been fun to compete against them. It'll be even better playing with them on the court.
Oh, I feel like we talked to you so much last year about how beat up you got by the end of the season. Like there was always an injury. How long into the off season did it take before you were like, oh, nothing hurts, nothing's sore?
I think I'm not there yet. I thought after 2 weeks I was gonna be, I'm gonna take a couple weeks off and be 100% to go back to work. And then those 2 weeks went on, and I wasn't still there. And then I took another one, and I took another one. After a month, I was like, okay, I don't think I can take another week before I go back to work. But I definitely got better. I definitely I think as a professional athlete, you almost never at 100%. You always have some kind of issue going on, something that you have to work on. And I think that's where I am right now. But I feel great. I feel great on the court. I feel great, working in the weight room, working with the training staff, and my body's definitely in a better spot than how I ended last year.
What do you take from last season? Just all you learned about being in this organization. Obviously, the playoffs were tough for you guys, but what kind of when you went into the off season, you had time off. What were you like? Okay, this is how I want to approach next season. This is what I want to work on.
I think individually is like I've been doing mostly the last two seasons. Just working on my body, working on my game, trying to find ways to make the rotation, find ways to help the team, and coming into a new team. That was one of the things that I was kind of mentally getting ready for it. I didn't know what I was gonna see with Coach Wes and with the new players. Of course, I'm in the same team I played last year, but it's totally different players and coach. So I just came with the open minded to learn and to take every little adjustment, every little things that he's introducing to our team on the court, and just take advantage of it. And like I said before, work hard to help the team how I can.
Speaking of working on your body, I mentioned the other day how ripped you were about your t-shirt. Is this a particular point of emphasis for you this off season, or is this something you work on every off season?
I mean, I don't work to look good. um, I work to feel good on the court and to feel strong and to feel quick and explosive. Um, but definitely when you have some time to eat well and sleep well, things that usually during the season you can, you're traveling and you get to a city at 2 a.m. You have to wake up. Last year was getting tested. We have to wake up and you don't sleep well, and sometimes you don't eat well either. So taking that time off to do that and being able to, just do the things, have a routine, I think that helps me just, I don't know, get my body where I want to be, to start the season, and then try to take along with the season, as much as I can.
Zach never tells me I look good, but it's okay. I want to ask you about Daniel Gaspard. Obviously, he made a huge difference when he got here mid-season last year. Have you noticed anything different about him coming into his first full year here in a higher comfort level or anything like that?
I mean, he's excited for sure. I've seen him working all summer, with Coach Alex, and working on his game. He definitely know his role on the team, but he has this mentality that he can add things to his game. He can add, I don't know, a mid range, or he can add things that will make his game even better. I mean, we all know that he got athleticism. He protects the rim. His rolling is probably one of the best in the league. Just because how athletic he is, and he can play above the rim, and but he's definitely excited. He's definitely like put a lot of work this summer, and I'm excited to see what he can do for us.
You don't look good, Chase.
That's why he don't stay, right?
I don't know if you like chronicle like plays of a year for you. Like you look back and go, oh man, I remember that play. But one thing that stood out to me was the Denver defensive play that you made. What statement do you think a play like that can make over the course of a season, and maybe even in a game? Because it was such a heady play that I'm sure even maybe your teammates in the locker room even said that might have been the play of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely marks something. I mean, the fact that you remember shows that those kind of plays can impact more the game than the season. But if you have me having a play like that one game and somebody else, I think it shows the spirit of the team. And I think that's what our team was about last year, just the way we made the playoffs. Nobody expected numbers was against us. People did not think we are going to make the playoffs. And I think that grit and, that, I don't know, believing in, that play specifically, I don't think if you look beginning of the play, nobody thought that I was going to get that basketball, but I believed it, and I went and got it. I think I feel like that's what I can bring, on the court. And definitely, I don't know if you change a season, but definitely you can change a game for sure.
Okay, we're going to switch over to Zoom. We'll start with Neil.
Hey, Raul, good to see you. First off, you got to tell them you can't be trying to challenge Daniel Gafford dunks. Team just posted that video. They got to get someone bigger to do that.
What video?
There was a video of Daniel dunking, and then you were the guy contesting. They got to give you a better advantage there.
Oh, they set me up.
But so obviously, building off Ava's question, you're a unique situation where you're returning to an organization, but whole new philosophy, whole new coaching staff. What can you kind of compare and contrast, how much that is trying to get up to speed versus you already know some of the things up to speed from the organization side?
I mean, as far as basketball, I think we are introducing a lot of new words and a lot of, details. I think we have to build a foundation, defensively, most of it. I think practices has been more about that, building a foundation, building, rules that we're going to follow throughout the season. And of course, I think every season you make adjustments and you have a game plan that changes every team you play. But until now, it's been a lot of details, a lot of the basics that we've been doing on the court.
And so far, both of your years that you've been here, last year you were also technically coming into a new system. This year, again, you're also coming into a new system. Last year was, crazy with COVID. There was non-existent training camp. Do you feel like this season is, somewhat back to a semblance of normal with, okay, you guys have been here for a few weeks now and really able to get the time to set that foundation that you didn't have last year?
I mean, we hope so. We don't know yet. Last year we thought that was going to be the case, but then COVID hit a couple teams and then you stopped. But I mean, we hope we're back to normal. We hope that we can have fans. We hope we can, like you said, know for sure what's going to happen and plan our season and plan, practices and all of that. But I think the one thing that I learned from all this situation is just like focus on today, just we got to work hard today. We got to think about who we playing tomorrow and who we play next and just work with that. There's a lot of things that we can't control that we cannot do anything about it. So I think my mindset and our team too is just, take day by day and get better every day.
Thanks, Raul. Enjoy the off day.
Thank you.
And last questions will go to Christos.
Hello, Raul. How are you?
Good.
Great. Some new pieces in the team, new coaching staff. How beneficial is this for you about your growth as a player? And what did you learn from Coach Unseld and your new teammates so far in this training camp?
I think I mean, no matter if we have the same coach, same team, or if I go to a different team, I think my mindset, my mentality will be the same. So I don't think that changes me trying to get better and me trying to be the best player I can be. But of course, when you have new teammates and new coaches, you learn things. And, if you can take the good things that you learn from other teams and other coaches and put it together with the new things that you're learning now, I think that's an advantage for me. We're still kind of learning to play with each other. We've, like I said before, we've switched teams and play with different players on the court. So I'm still learning how, Montrez like to play, how Aaron likes to play and playing 1 and 2. So it's only been 4 days, but it's definitely being a good training camp.
Gracias.
Okay.
We want to be competitive. I think it was one of those things that we don't want to, obviously do too much, work efficiently, but at the same time, this is camp and we got a lot to put in. So it's really important for us to just dial in, gut it out, push yourself, push the guys around you, because we'll look back at these days and wish we did or wish we had. And I don't want to live with that regret that come opening night, we just don't have enough in, or we're not in the right place, right mindset. We're not in peak condition. So all those things is just like, hey, we got to get it done. So find the energy somewhere. You got an off day tomorrow and gut it out.
I kind of been thinking about something that Brad said way back earlier in the week, but he mentioned that one of the things when you guys were getting to know each other, you went out to LA and watched him work out. When you look at him in that environment, are you looking for something, or are you just saying like, hey, I'm here, I'm invested in your career? Like,
Right.
do you learn anything about him in that space?
Yes and yes. I think it's you don't want to get to know them on their terms, on their space, kind of in their environment, how they work, some of the things that they're working on. Kind of gives you insight into maybe this is good for us during the season, or maybe we can shy away from that. But just his work ethic, his approach. But it was just a great opportunity to spend some time, go see him work out in the gym, go see him work out, hit the weights. Some of the core strengthening things that he does is very unique. So it's really impressive sometimes when you watch these guys get through their workouts. They have trainers and people that they work with all summer. These people do a great job.
Flashback to Denver, the Wizards were there. Raul Neto made, see, you're already smiling, you already know what I'm going to say. He made such a defensive play, heady play that really was, that I still remember, and I just asked him about it. When you saw him for the first time here, did you remember that on recall?
We didn't speak for a couple days because of that.
But that has to, as a new coach, knowing that guy is at least locked in
Yeah,
defensively, and I know
yeah.
he'll do anything on that end of the floor.
Mhm.
How much does that help kind of like in a relationship and trying to get things done this week?
That helps a lot. I mean, because you know, from the outside looking in, you kind of have a perception of a player. You know, when you play in the West, you see a team twice, that might not be the real deal. So when you get a chance to actually be around him, like that's what he's about. That's who he is. That's how he impacts the game. It's valuable, and it's funny because he's close to one of the assistants that I worked with in Denver. So having that commonality, we were already via text, you know, kind of reaching out to each other and going back and forth with certain things even before we met in person. So that foundation I thought was laid early, and it's something that we're going to need, you know. And I know it's tough some nights. He gives up some size, but I look at a guy like Facu Campazzo. What he lacks in size, he brings in heart and effort and energy, and he can be a pest. It really just kind of gets under people's skin, and he can really change a game for you.
I just want to talk defense and just your shells, what you're putting in now, from what their attention or retention is to it. What does it look like 4 days in?
It's gotten better, and I think, you know, the challenge is not only to continue to grow, continue to retain some of the things, but get more application, because the drills are great. You know, it's controlled environment. You stop it at a certain point. Everybody's moving in concert. Everybody's talking. But now you get to the live segments, you lose some of that. And to get more and more carryover, the more live stuff you do, that I think that's the hardest part when you're putting in a new system, is getting that, you know, that carryover from drills to live.
What are the unique core things Brad does?
I couldn't even describe it, honestly, because I certainly can't do it. But just, you know, with the kettlebells and, you know, some of the stretching, the strengthening, the core strengthening, it's unique, and it's pretty impressive when you see a guy do some of those things. Like he's one of the strongest pound per pound guys we have on this club.
Hey, Coach, just want to ask about your adjustment to this new job. After 4 days of training camp, have there been any discoveries or surprises about the job?
I'd say probably more surprises, in that there's so much more to it than I thought. And you kind of know that before you get in it, but you really don't know until you're really immersed in it. So just the number of things that you have to get done aside from basketball. And it's, you know, the managing of people component, organizing things that you don't even think about as an assistant. But that comes with the territory. It's part of the learning curve. And I've got great people to kind of help me navigate some of this. But when all those decisions come down to you, at times you're like, okay, I got to go to this other thing. It kind of detracts from what happens between the lines. So I'm just going to have to cope with it and deal with it and do the best I can. But that's probably been the biggest, you know, eye-opening thing, is just how much more than basketball there is to do.
Do you have any time to sleep? I mean, how many hours are you getting?
I mean, that's about normal. I got to do better with that, the work-life balance. And it's something not only for myself, but staff. I think you're more efficient when you're rested, but trying to find that happy medium. It's not unique to me or any other coach. It's just, that's a league thing that we as coaches have to do a better job. But pick and choose. I mean, you know, you have to ask, you know, what's important in that moment, get it done, and find ways to remove yourself, decompress, and spend time with family.
Going into training camp, did anyone who has been in your position before give you any advice and anything stick out?
Oh, plenty. And that's been extremely helpful. In each situation, it takes on a life of its own. There's not, you know, one situation that's going to be all the same. The dynamic of your team, the makeup of your group, sometimes it's the age of your team may change some things you can do and can't do. But just, you know, you got to pick your own path and take your time, decide what you want to do. You lay down your foundations and just be you. Don't overthink it. Just kind of take day to day and do the best you can.
When it comes to bringing in rookies and young players, do you kind of generally follow a similar step-by-step process with each guy, or does it kind of depend on their experience level before they got here and kind of their understanding and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I think it's, at first it's kind of step by step, but they'll show you where they are. Each individual player's maturation is going to be different. And, trying to expedite it too soon, I think you're probably putting them at a disadvantage. If they're not ready for it, you're kind of throwing them to the wolves. So at times, I think you have to push them out of their box a little bit, get a little bit more from them, expose them to more. And I think that helps their development. But you want to also put them in a situation where they can have success. I mean, that's how you build that confidence. If every time they go through something, it's like it doesn't work out, I think that kind of, that can play on your mind a little bit.
And we asked Corey Kispert about his cutting ability. Obviously, a lot is made about shooting, but he said he worked a lot on cutting last year, and it seemed to show up in the summer league.
Mm-hmm.
What have you seen from him in that regard, and what do you think is going to be key to him translating that to the next level?
Well, I think you said it. His shooting is one thing, and that's going to be a constant. Teams are going to guard him as a shooter because they know that's just who he is and what he can do. But the cutting is just as impactful. And giving yourself up, that's going to ignite tags. And once again, the amount of shooting we can put around him, around Brad, Spencer, DB, all these guys, Denny, it's you got Kuz who can handle. So that cutting, that's going to orchestrate tags. And the minute that happens, somebody's open.
I know you guys are off tomorrow and then you travel Sunday. Have you even gotten to that headspace of how you're going to play starters? How are you going to do the preseason so far, at least in that first game?
Yeah, I think you want to get everyone a look. I don't think it behooves us much to play it in a real sense. You want to see quality minutes with your core group, with your top 8 or 9, but it will probably treat the last 2 preseason games as more real games as far as minutes. But I think we just want to look at everybody, try some things, try some different units, some different lineups, different combinations, and just get a foundation of like, does this translate from practice? See how that looks.
Wes, did everybody go to that? Everybody's.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Okay, we'll go over to Zoom for a few questions. We'll start with Neil.
Hey, Coach. First off, were there any rookie duties for singing "Happy Birthday" to Daniel?
Say again.
Did any of the rookies have rookie duties to sing to Daniel?
Yes, that's a longstanding tradition. So they sang yesterday to Aaron. They sang it to Daniel. So I know they're going to get tired of it, but hey, we all had to do it. I had to do it as a young coach. So just embrace and go with it.
Gotcha. And, I know, you guys are not going to pressure Rui or, do anything like that when he's ready to come back. I'm sure you guys will welcome him with full arms. But are you guys still in communication with him? Do you guys see this as a, maybe in a few days he might be back, or is it potentially a long-term thing, or is that still up in the air?
I think it's kind of up in the air. It's not really an issue for us. I think, with a personal matter, when it's time, it's time. And he's been in constant communication with us, which is great. So we'll know, but there's no pressure. There's no imminent issue with him being here at this point. Take care of the business he needs to take care of, and we'll leave it at that.
Understood. Thanks, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
And we will take the last questions from Christos.
Hello, Coach. Hope you're doing well. How satisfied you are about the way that your players react through your advices, guidelines, and stuff like this so far?
I didn't hear the whole question. I apologize.
Yeah, how satisfied you are about the way that your players react so far in this training camp?
Yeah, no, I'm very satisfied. I mean, I think it's on us as coaches, as staff, to continue to push, because we always want more. We talked about that leadership from within. So we're starting to see more and more of that, where guys, especially the vets, are stepping up. And, when they have something to say, they add it, when they want to hold each other accountable. So it's satisfying to see some of the same messaging being relayed, not necessarily coming from myself, my staff, but from within. I think, once again, if we can continue to foster that mindset, individual accountability, with, trusting that your teammates are there to help you, I think that builds a solid, group that's going to coalesce at the right time.
And for you, do you have any chip on your shoulder, and you feel any pressure about your first job as a head coach this season?
Of course. I mean, it's a natural pressure. Regardless of me being a head coach, assistant coach, the pressure is now different. It's at a much higher stake because obviously I'm in charge of how everything plays out. But I still felt that as an assistant. This is a results driven business, and that's what we're here for. We're trying to get those desired results. So there is that inherent pressure, and that's probably more pressure I'm putting on myself than anything. But it comes with it. So it's just going to have to be something I deal with.
All right, all set. Thank you for your time today, Coach. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
To work on individually or get better at over training camp so far?
I would say just being, a vocal leader. I've been able to, voice my opinion, on things I see, that we can do better, or, if I see something that we're doing wrong, try to correct it. With the younger guys, that's pretty much, the most thing I've been working on this training camp.
I forget, Spencer, who said that Brad had a very inspirational speech at the dinner before the person called him MLK, in fact.
Yeah.
What was kind of the message that he shared with you guys? Were you similarly inspired by Brad pontificating?
I was inspired. I never, really heard him talk like that. Me and him is just, friends. We joke, buddy. But seeing him just being a little serious, being that leader. It was shocking, but I was happy for him. We understood everything he was saying, and we're just gonna take it and apply it. He was talking about just being like I was talking about earlier, that one unit, doing everything together. Even today, we had like a players only meeting, and that's what we talked about, holding each other accountable, and just being there for each other.
This is technically your third team, your second time joining a new team after your career started. Just did you learn anything from that experience previously when you went from like Detroit to LA, that now that you're going from LA to DC, it's like to kind of start out? Is there anything you've done differently?
No, I wouldn't say. And I feel like I've just, adapted to every environment that I've been in, and that's what I'm here to do, adapt to this environment, and play as hard as I did for the other organization. Play hard for this organization, stay within myself, and just be me. I feel like that's the only thing I know how to do.
And what are your impressions of Wes Unseld Jr. now that you've been through some practices with him? Just kind of what type of coach and what type of guy are you kind of seeing so far?
Very, relax, chill. He's really on point. He tried to teach us, detail by detail. He also give us that, that dialogue where we can, give our opinion, and and he elaborates on it as well. And I like that, being able to have that type of dialogue with the coach. He listened, and then we listen to him as well. He's been just, I like, just his approach, his chillness is cool, but still no business. He wanted to teach, until we get it right. And he's leaning on us as much as we leaning on him. So to continue to help each other out.
Winning a championship has its privileges. It also gives you cachet. When you go to another team, you walk in the room, they know that you're a champion. What part of the things that you learned in LA do you hope to apply here?
That team chemistry. I would say, I talked about it early. The more we can, be together, learn each other, just pretty much do everything together. The better we're gonna be on the court together. The more we can buy into the mentality of just we're gonna defend, together. We help the helper, and we're gonna move the ball on offense. Once we learn to play together, I feel like we can be unstoppable. And we have the talent. We have the young guys that wants to compete. That's gonna give you that 110% effort. And I just feel like we just got to put that chemistry together.
You're a 2-8 player. Specifically, I want to know, like on the defensive end, night in and night out, when you look at your assignment, how much of that is kind of like the film study, or is it just the retention of competing against that guy for years? Like, how do you go about on that end of the floor?
Most of it is film. And then after that, it's who's going to compete the hardest, and I take pride on that. My defense, it's going to be hard. I'm not going to just give you what you want. I'm going to try to force you to do as much as the things I want you to do, than you want to do. And I'm going to apply the pressure all night. So you're gonna feel me on your hip. You're gonna feel me chasing you. I might be talking a little bit. I usually don't talk. So I might be poking. You might be grabbing. It might be a lot of things. But you're gonna feel me. Right on you the whole night. So I try to enforce that from the start.
How do you guard Brad? I'm curious. You guys are boys, but I'm sure between the lines.
It's still competitive. But we I throw my joke here and there. Throughout the game, we throw in here. We'll have a laugh here and there. But it's competitive. I don't like to be scored on, and I know he don't want to be stopped. So it's like, all right, let's see who. We don't grow up a little bit. Let's see who let's see who score. Like who get the stops and who scores. But we try to the time we have played against each other. We try to make it fun. But also, we competing against each other. I'm trying to get the win, he trying to get the win. So it's all boiled down to who wanted it most.
I know you obviously have in common a lot of things with like all dudes throughout the league, I'm sure. But when you guys are, like you said, building chemistry and doing everything together, does it make a difference that I feel like so much of this roster, like you guys were born within like 6 years of each other, like you're all the same age, you must have all the same like references and all, like listen to all the same guys. Like, does that make a difference?
That does make a difference, a big difference. I don't think nobody on the team is even 30. So that makes a big difference. We have guys that they got young vets. That's the oldest is might be 29. I don't know. But then you have your guys, the young guys, that wants to compete, that have that dog mentality. But like you said, like just that same age group, we do listen to the same music. We can come in the locker room, somebody could be playing music, and we don't have to like ask who's playing it or like who's like change the song or something. Yeah, so we all just vibe into it. Even just having conversation with each other, is it's about things of our age group, things that we are interested in. Like if somebody's trying to get to know one another, we sit and talk to each other. It's most of us has kids, or a wife or girlfriend. Talk about family. So it's a lot of things that we talk about, that we pitch off each other.
KCP, we're gonna go to Zoom for your last question, and it's gonna come from Neil.
Hey, KCP. You mentioned the players only meeting. I'm curious, is that somewhat atypical to have, so early in the season? And is it fair to characterize it as just, making sure everybody was on the same page?
I feel like, the earlier the better. The earlier we can start building that chemistry in training camp, even early before training camp. We know we have a lot of guys here. I feel like the earlier the better. The more we can build each day, get to know each other, stop over somebody's house, invite people over. The more we can do that as a unit, even coming to practice, the more we can have meetings and talk about things, what we want to do for this season or how we're going to do this, people roll. The dialogue we have amongst each other, that comes a long way. We can build off that. All right, now I know Trez, tendencies. I know what makes him goals, or I know if he's having a bad day. All right, Trez needs a moment. Just an example. I feel like the earlier the better, always.
Is that something that, Brad or somebody else kind of spoke up and said, hey, let's go ahead and, get in a room and hash things out. And like you said earlier, the better, or with somebody else?
Actually, this wasn't Brad. This was Trez. So Trez, called, and this meeting was actually on the court, right after we was done. He just called all players, coaches, walked away, and we just had a talk amongst each other, and the more we can continue to do that, the better we're gonna be.
Thanks.